My plan is to hide, to avoid, but if I get busted, if I get captured, I'm not going to do a Rambo, I'm going to do a Gandhi. If I get captured, I'm not going to do a Rambo, I'm going to do a Gandhi. If I get captured, I'm not going to do a Rambo, I'm going to do a Gandhi.
All right, I hope you guys heard that. I'm not going to do a Rambo, I'm going to do a Gandhi. It sounded like Schaeffer was telling us his plan. You think the government played that for the jury and made the case that Schaeffer didn't have any plans to kill anybody, that he wanted to be like Gandhi, not Rambo? Insanity how the government twisted the case. Like I said, Schaeffer's core links email is opened up this morning. Praise God Almighty. We expect to have a lot more communications with Schaeffer. We are going to take advantage of it while we have it, because these evil reprobates that run the prison system can take it away at a moment's notice. So we got one in this morning, May the 30th, the year 2017. It says the Second Amendment is a lie. Now, of course, the Second Amendment itself is probably the truest and most audaciously American thing ever written, and I love it. But if you hear any court or federal official talking about how you have a Second Amendment right, rest assured you are being told a big fat lie by someone who is out to conquer you by clever deceit. If you can lose it, it's not a right. What the feds tell you about the Second Amendment is like saying, this belongs to you forever until I take it away, or you can count on me until I flake out, or you won't get hurt unless you get injured. But look past their lies and they will lose their power. What if the following happened? One morning by surprise the feds raid the homes of all gun owners in America. They ransack each house, confiscate all the guns, and traumatize the women and children, then send the men off to secret prisons for brutal programming that is designed to crush their free and proud American spirit. Then the feds put out a big propaganda cover story through their centrally controlled mainstream media about how the gun owners only had guns because they didn't trust the government. And this is dangerous, so that's why they had to get sent to prison camps. But even the propaganda cover story is just a bunch of hype the feds whipped up for themselves to listen to and help their own stormtroopers feel good about committing acts of un-American treason. What would you think if the scenario I just described went down in America? Well, that is exactly what happened to me. So what is the difference if they do it to us one at a time or all at once, or by little groups at a time? Nothing. The scale does not alter the nature of the essential act. The saying goes, God created all men, Sam Colt made them equal. There's a lot of truth to that. Anyone who wants to disarm his fellow man is scared of equality. The disarmer wants to give himself an advantage so he can have dominion over his neighbor. This is evil. Tyrants don't have enough self-respect to be able to interact with equals, only subjects. And as I watch more and more people get murdered by the cops they encounter in day-to-day life, I have tried to identify with all these killings have in common, what all these killings have in common. And I have come to realize that simply speaking to a cop respectfully as an equal is a mortal sin that can get you shot on the spot, no questions asked. And the courts defend these field executions every time. When approached by a badge-carrying priest of the God of the state, you better lower your gaze and get down on bended knee. If you don't, you will be struck dead. It's sort of like a human sacrifice to an angry God. What we believe eventually works its way out into practical realities. We must live with these killings. My phone. Stop. What we believe eventually works its way out into practical realities we must live with. These killings are what happens when we set the state up as our God. Most people don't think their philosophies all the way through to their logical end. But when you let your ideas run their course to their rotten fruit, then people can't help but see the results. America is being forced to look at the results of our idolatrous deification of government, and it's super ugly. This is a good chance for those of us who haven't lost sight of our core values to step in and offer the ideological solution that will heal our minds, our families, and our lives. God made man, and God gave him rights. Man created government to protect those rights. No government in the history of man has actually protected the rights of man. Maybe government is a failed experiment where man tried to make his own God that he could own and control. Maybe we should burn our wooden idols, so to speak, and just go back to God and patriotic families that handle everything from welfare to defense to business loans. It would sure beat the modern nation state that promises a fantasy of peace and prosperity, but delivers the reality of carnage and poverty. Free your mind. Let me read that again. Free your mind, and the rest will follow. It's not that hard, and it's a happy thing. I love you all. The bastards haven't broken me. Let me read that again. The bastards have not broken me. Smiley face. Schaeffer Cox. We praise God for men like Schaeffer Cox. He's asking people to send birthday cards to his son. You can mail him a letter as well, and if you want to mail me to my P.O. Box address, I will forward the letter to his son, and just write his son an encouraging letter about his father, how you think his father is an American hero, a patriot, and that he shouldn't be in prison. And then you can also write Schaeffer an encouraging letter to that address right there. God bless you guys. Have a great day. Walk with the Lord. Peace.